flick to the left and he's on the grass, he's in the barrier. I don't think Bally knew that he was going there. And straight, he's going to the right hand side, he's touching wheels onto the grass, and Miettinen goes through on the right hand side. And surely this is his chance. Watch this as he pokes out to the right hand side. Now he's alongside Tony Talviti and he blasts through into the lead of the race.
This battle has literally been going for almost an hour and a half.
It really has.
It's actually quite impressive. Oh.
Civitan's off. He's crashing across the track, he's going to be hit. He was hit by Thomas Ricciardi. Davide Ricciardi delivers a fantastic performance, crosses the line and wins. This time gets all the way alongside Fanotti. Oh, and they touch, and Talviti holds it. Does Fanotti of the V10 Viper, and the Lamborghini darts back through to the inside. It's a bit of a dive. He's going to go wide on the exit. And up until this point has driven the better race, but he's running wide, and Ricciardi's made another mistake, and he's taken them both off. My goodness! Miettinen out to the final corner, and a truly well-deserved victory. Fantastic. Makes up for last round. Across the line, absolutely brilliant.
And here we go, 90 minutes. At Donington, already 3 wide, approaching turn 1. Oh, very close into Goddard's. Van der Geest very close on the back of Milliken, and they touch. They touch going over Schwartz curve. Milliken taking to the grass. Van der Geest pulling aside. Milliken, can't keep it together, and Brown will go outside. 2 by 2 into Redgate. Brown doesn't see him and hits him. And Ricciardi uses it to his advantage. Ricciardi goes wide. Tries to rejoin, but knows he can't. Gutierrez makes the pass. Rodriguez is off. Rodriguez overcooks it into Coppas. Verlini sneaks through on the inside, retakes 9th corner. He's on the last lap. Tony Talviti will hang on with a dominant performance at the front of the field. Still a 12-second gap down to Ricciardi. Verlini is off. I don't believe it. I just go to the checkered flag and I missed the action. Verlini. Welcome back, everybody. Microphone seems to be working. Hello, audience. Welcome to round 5 of the RSS GT1 Championship on SimRacingOnline. Folks are just filtering in for the practice session now, and I'm just sort of getting myself settled into the commentary booth, which, a desk in a basement, but hey-ho. 7 drivers have set times so far. Davide Ricciardi at the top of the charts with a 2:17.5. John Van der Geest next with a time 2.1 seconds back from that. Expect to have at least a few more drivers than 7. I think some of them have just not set a time yet. But while we're waiting for folks to settle in, let's go over the standings thus far in the championship for folks who have not joined us yet. Starting with Davide Ricciardi leading the points with 148. He's the defending champion of the series and has not finished off the podium yet in this season. We'll see if he can keep that streak alive. Tony Talviti second in the points, only 18 back. He was under the weather at VIR, but has won the last 2 races. He'll be trying to complete the hat trick and win here at Spa. Johnny Gutierrez is third. He's been consistently near the front and led the race at Donington during the pit cycle, holding on for his first podium finish of the season. John Van der Geest is fourth in the points in a Ferrari after finishing the runner-up in Season 1 in a Lister. Involved in a Turn 1 incident at Donington that put him in last place 2 weeks ago, but came back through the field to finish 6th. Phil Brown, 5th in the points, and has shown a consistent pace in each of the first 4 events. He and Andrew Williams also gave us one of the more exciting battles in the last race at Donington. We'll be seeing if he can best his season-best 5th position from that event and from VIR. Tied with Phil is Yusuf Majid, but he's left the series due to commitments in that pesky real life that too often gets in the way of great imaginary race cars. Roberto Bali, 7th in the points, despite missing the event at VIR. He began with the season with a podium finish at VIR and has been quietly consistent since then. Don't cut him out of a great result here at Spa. Henri Miettinen stands 8th after a race-ending disconnection in the opening round at CTMP and did not appear for the race at Donington. He did pull off a win in the third battle in a thrilling battle against Davide Ricciardi at VIR. So when he's here, you know he'll be fast. But I have not seen him today, so we'll see. Steve Olden has been hovering around 10th on track, but his consistency has boosted him to 9th in the standings. We'll see if our own Steve-O can surprise us with some daring stunts to put himself up the running order here. Rob Milliken rounds out the top 10 in championship points. His best finish so far this season was an 8th 2 weeks ago at Donington, which was well earned after a tough battle with John Van der Geest, Giacomo Merlini, and Nuno Rodriguez. Rob has a lot of experience with this circuit, running other series with SRO as well, and we'll see if that helps him continue to improve tonight. Giacomo Merlini is better placed with the 2 Lamborghinis from Brittech Simsport. He missed the race at Oschersleben, but has shown some great battling skill in the other 3 rounds. Pablo Finati has shown lead pack pace in the first 3 rounds, but was hampered by 2 disconnections in the first 2 races. If he's here today, then he'll be a force to be reckoned with at the front. Steve Isaacs is 13th in the points, having run only the first 2 races, but surely his custom Wolf Sim Racing livery is worth some sort of bonus? Laurent Land has run only 1 race at Oschersleben, but scored a podium there, so taking 3rd behind Telvidi and Riccardi. If he shows up again, he will definitely be counted in with the leaders. Andrew Williams joined the series at Donington 2 weeks ago and immediately snagged a 4th place finish after a race-long battle with Phil Brown. We'll see if that continues today. Kai Sivertsen is 16th in the points on the strength of a 6th place finish at CTMP, where a 2-stop strategy was foiled only in the closing minutes as he spun at the bottom of that treacherous turn 2. Dean Timms drives the second of the Brittech cars and has unfortunately been the victim of that most curious phenomenon, real equipment failures while racing in an imaginary race car. So hope he has better luck in the rest of the series. Javier Eugeni is 18th in the points after an 8th place at CTMP, but has not returned since. Nuno Rodriguez joined us at Donington and was the center of the biggest battle of the race, along with Van der Geest, Milliken, and Verlini. He survived drama after drama to come home in 9th. Roel Postma finished 10th at Oschersleben, but has not returned to the series. He rounds out the top 20 in points thus far in the season. If this series has a Spirit of the Race award, then it might go to Andrew Harper for his perseverance at Donington. The GT1 cars have a steep learning curve, but he survived to see the checkered flag at the end of the 90 minutes. And rounding out point scorers from this season thus far is Larry Thomas, whose only appearance was a 15th at Mosport. So that is the points scene here as we enter round 5 at Donington, or not at Donington, at Spa. Last one was Donington. I'll wind the calendar in my brain eventually. We have several more people who have joined the session, including 2nd place in the standings, Tony Telvidi in the Saline. We have some new folks joining us as well. Lino Senna has joined the series this week. So far, he's posting a 225.9, which I believe is still faster than me. So that's something. I took some practice laps earlier today, and speaking of learning curves, and Telvidi just misses turning that into a disaster. But the trip up from Eau Rouge and through Radillon is treacherous in these cars. There's no way. If you can take that flat out, then you have discovered something magical. Lino Senna in the Ferrari. It is sunny at Spa. So I'm again running all the mods on Assetto Corsa. We have the Seasons pack, we have the Shaders patch, we have the server's not using Sol weather, so that's not coming into play. But yes, the seasonal skins for Spa are gorgeous. And we'll of course see tire smoke and grass and dirt and all sorts of dramatic things being thrown onto the track. None of which will affect driving conditions, but it's fun to watch. Also joining us this week is Joachim Stenses. I should probably ask him how to pronounce that before I butcher it anymore. But he's currently 4th in the standings in practice, only 6/10 off the leader. Vandergeest with a 2:17.8, 3/10 off of Ricciardi's pace. That'll keep him near the front. Andrew Williams also close, only about a second back from the leader. So we definitely have some competition shaping up at the front. Laurent Land is, in fact, back this week in the number 12, I believe. There he goes. He is 1.1 seconds back from the leader in 5th place. Let's flip back through some of these other cars that may or may not look the same as last time. Here is Johnny Gutierrez. He is now in the black and red lister. Is that the same car he had last week? I think it might be. Maybe he settled on a livery. Let's see. Tony Talvidi is back in the number 5, which means Nuno is probably in a different car now. He is in the blue and black number 7. Ooh, that's a wicked looking car. Can you believe these are all stock liveries mostly? This RSS GT1 pack is pretty great for the livery selection. Oh, Laurent Land jumps to 2nd on the timing sheet with a 2:17.7, only 2/10 off of Ricciardi's pace. Things are heating up. Oh, Ricciardi jumps out directly in front of him on the track. He will surely yield the position. There we go. He is on an outlap, but Land looks like he is all in on setting another time. Let's go on board. Oh, desktop audio is off. I should probably turn that on. Hey, now you can hear the game too. Always nice. So you guys don't see the mouse. All day. Excellent. Joachim? Yeah. Joachim? Yeah. Names. What's in a name? Yeah, I probably need to turn that down. Yeah, trackside audio is not too bad, but in-car is loud. But that's the spirit of the thing, right? You want to hear the roar of the race cars. Hello, Bill. Welcome to the stream. Speaking of Joachim, he is now 2nd. Joachim. I'll remember that now. He's now 2nd on the timing sheet. Only a 10th off of Ricciardi's time. All right. Where are we here? So, let's see. Everybody else in pretty much the same cars they have been driving. Roberto Bali in the 14 Ferrari. Steve Olden in the custom lister. Fully embracing the Steve-O identity. Got the Listerine on the lister. So do you suppose that's a, hygiene product or a fuel additive in this context? Senna just going out now on an outlap. Whoop. And we appear to have jumped to qualifying because it is, in fact, 8 o'clock GMT. Here I am just minding my own business, and we have jumped to qualifying. So we will now see if people's practice times will carry through into qualifying. There's a Land. Vandergeest will go out with Ricciardi. He's first in practice and is first out of the pits. Through Radion. There's a line in there somewhere. On the cold tires, it's treacherous to get through there. So hard to feather the throttle and get these cars through here. One dose of Thunderfoot is enough to spin the car. Wide through the entry to Bruxelles. Warm those tires. Charging down the hill to the long left. And we have a bit of a video freeze there. That's entertaining. Have I pushed the PC too far? Time will tell. Also running Internet Explorer instead of Chrome because I have to log into the SRO YouTube and I don't want to mess up my session on my own channel. So hopefully Internet Explorer will not be getting in the way today. We'll continue to service free. Coming up toward Blanchemont now. Not quite flat out, but near enough. Down through the gears, braving first for the bus stop. Climbing gently onto the throttle to not spin the car. This is a beautiful track, and with the contributions of Custom Shaders Patch and the seasonal skins that have been contributed by the community, it's hard to believe that this game came out in 2014 and still looks this good, but that is largely due to the tireless efforts of the modding community to keep this game up to date. Now we're on board with Ricciardi for his first timed lap. The length of this circuit is going to pose a challenge to these drivers for qualifying because there are only 15 minutes in the session, and so you don't get too many whacks at this before the session ends and you have to go about your business. So if there's any way to put together a setup where you can run the whole 15-minute session and not waste too much time on outlaps, that'll be what they're looking for. Approaching Fagny. You can see tire marks all over the track from excursions from all the drivers so far. A bit of grass kicked up here and there. Complex into the back section. Ooh. Mostly within track limits. As has been the case throughout the season, the server-enforced penalties have been disabled in favor of having the series stewards review the replays afterward. So, rather than having arbitrary penalties imposed by the game, we will have real live human officials. Ricciardi sets the pace with a 2:17.2. Vandergeest is next with a 2:18.6. Still plenty of time left. What a view down the hill to Eau Rouge. Audio slightly out. Oh, yeah. I've noticed that the shifting sounds may be out of sync a bit. I've noticed this. Well, I don't know. This one seems alright. Yeah, some of the cars, the shifting is a little bit out of sync. I've noticed that too on what was the other car I was driving the other day? Might have been the Octavia in SRS races. Seems just a little bit behind. I don't know whether that's a function of the mod or something else. Talviti has claimed second so far. More with him. Coming down the hill from Bruxelles now. Just over 8 minutes to go in qualifying. That will amount to about 4 laps. This one and 4 more, most likely. I can also try to get the microphone closer to my face. I also don't want to pop in people's ears since I don't have one of those cool filters. A second behind at the speed trap, or at the end of Sector 2 for Talviti, so he will not be besting his time this lap. Oh my. Hakim Stensness? I should have asked him before the race. Has just set a time, a 10th off of Davide Ricciardi. If he keeps this up, I'm going to be regrettably butchering his name a lot today, because he will be right up there at the front. Through Sector 1 with the fastest time of the day. Oh my. A challenger appears. Talviti into the pits. He will burn an outlap when he returns. Driver, unfortunately, a recent enough newcomer to the series that I have not managed to get in touch with him to find out how to say his name properly. So, many preemptive apologies for what I am about to do to your surname, sir. Looking to beat a 140.7 through Sector 2, and he does, still a 10th ahead. As he heads into the final sector, going back on board. Approaching Blanchemont. All the way to the outside, then whipping in. That seemed to be flat out or near about. Clicking down through the gears all the way to first for the bus stop. Bouncing over the bumps. And onto the front straight, opposite lock. Keeping the car pointed in the direction he wants to go. Lost just a shade too much in Sector 3 and remains in second. After being up a 10th in the first 2 sectors, this will be a battle to watch at the front. Talviti, who has won the last 2 races, is a 2.5 seconds back so far in qualifying. And appears to be on an outlap. So this time will look horrific, but will actually not count for anything anyway. So far, only 11 cars setting a time. I didn't notice whether that will be the balance of things when we begin the race. Johnny Gutierrez has rejoined the session. I didn't catch whether he had set a time before. He may now have to set another, and with only 4 minutes left to go in the session. Here he is again. Back on the scoring sheet. 3 seconds back. Definitely seems to be a pack separating at the front with Ricciardi, Stensnes, and Talviti. Help me out, guys. Call me out if I butcher this. You know better than I do. Andrew Williams in 4th and Phil Brown 5th. These guys had a great battle going at Donington. If they are together on track again, they will likely be an even match again. There's Van de Geest. 1.5 seconds behind at the end of Sector 2. But if he can hold that interval, that will significantly improve his position. We'll see how it does in Sector 3. Stensnes in the pits. Whoa, flat through Blanchemont. All the way out to the edge of the pavement. Now up the hill through the bus stop. And onto the front straight. He will come in 1.6 seconds behind. That does boost him to 4th place. As we now only have 2.5 minutes to go. So anyone on track will get this lap and one more. Giacomo Verlini has joined the session. Representing BritTech SimSport. Beautiful custom 55. Just because I like showing off people's custom liveries, I'll do it again for these guys. How about that for some livery work? Sparkle. Logos. Very cool. Whoopsie daisy. Comes across the line with a time, but it is nearly 10 seconds back. He'll be looking to better that and has this lap to do it. He's shown the pace in previous races, but Spa is a track that will punish you for not practicing. Particularly entering that final chicane. But also coming up the hill to Radial. That seemed pretty smooth. Now down the Kemmel Straight. Through the speed trap at the end of Sector 1, only 2 seconds behind. So if he keeps that pace up, he will move well up the order. I'm sitting here resisting the temptation to turn my wheel along with what I'm seeing on the screen. I'm not even in the race. I'm just sitting in the pits watching. Laurent Land with a 2:18.2 jumps to 6th, separating Williams and Brown with another Ferrari. So it looks like we'll have 4 Ferraris again in the middle of the field with Van der Geest, Williams, Land, and Brown. With Rodriguez and then Bally in another Ferrari. A popular choice, though they do have ballast. At least one of the variants does have ballast to even out their performance with the rest of the field. Coming up to the end of Sector 2 now for Verlini. This is falling further back, 6.9 seconds now. The twisty bits are quite the challenge. The good news is he'll have 90 minutes in which to find even more pace. If he's feeling shaky at the outset, then he can, at worst, simply hang back and learn some things. And by the end of the race, will likely be much further up. Lino Senna has left the server at the end of qualifying. Hopefully he will be able to return in time for the race. I believe we have a 2-minute, either a 1.5 or 2-minute break in between. Verlini does better his time, but only to 9 seconds back from Ricciardi, who holds the pole with a 2:16.1. So it appears that everyone who qualified for the race has indeed beaten my practice time. And that will end qualifying with Ricciardi first, Stensnes in second, Talviti third, Van der Geest fourth, Williams fifth, Lond sixth, Brown seventh, Bali eighth, Rodriguez ninth, Gutierrez rounding out the top 10. Then Rob Milliken, Steve Olden, and Giacomo Verlini filling out the field. If Senna returns, he will be up in there somewhere. Yes, Talviti will be right in the thick of the hunt. But that two-car battle has suddenly become 3. Brown, right at the end of the session, leaping into 4th place with a 2:17. Lond is off. Okay, so he has simply pulled off at the end of the track. So these guys are just waiting for the end of the session now. And there it is. Hopefully Leno Senna will be able to return. Whoopsie. Oh no, Gutierrez is out. Before we've even begun. Surely he's come back, right? I thought I saw him on the timing sheet. Where is he now? His car's here, so hopefully he'll be back. Rodriguez is also back. Is Senna back online? Not yet. So we'll hope he makes it back. Yeah, the field is close. Delay the audio a smidge. I'm not sure that I can. Is the audio actually out of sync with the video? I don't know why that would happen. I know there's a slight delay between me and the stream itself, but yeah, I don't know how I would fix that, because I don't see any way to adjust that here. It's just one of those darn things. All right, looks like we're in the race session. I will do the most important thing that I can do for my own car, and that is warp it to the pits. Get out of the way of the competitors. We'll now go... Yeah, let's hang at the back of the field, which is currently Gutierrez. I want to see everything that happens at the front and going into La Source, but also want to watch the entire field go by through La Source. So yes, looks like a 90-second period in between, which means we have just over a minute to go before the lights come on and go out again. Yeah, just stay in the car, and it's like, and now here's an in-car view of lap 1 of the race, and then I just crash into somebody. I'm like, uh-oh. Yeah, that would definitely endanger my commentary deal for the rest of the season. With good reason. Drivers getting butterflies now as we come to the last 30 seconds before the start of the race. Looks like we have a 14-ish car field. At 10 seconds, the lights will begin to illuminate. And they will drop off. Here we go. 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, go. And we're off 90 minutes at Spa-Francorchamps. Coming up to La Source for the first time. Looks like Ricciardi is going to be at the front. And indeed he is. He gets a good lead. Coming down the hill, have some battles at the back. Verlini got a good jump on Milliken and Olden. And Rodriguez, looks like he went wide at Radion. loses some positions. Lawn does as well. And coming into Les Combes with Ricciardi and Stensnes and Talvidi, 1, 2, 3. An orange car in P1. This is obviously rigged. Ricciardi pulling out the slightest of leads. Further down the field, we'll look at Williams, who's in a tight knot of Ferraris. Looks like Verlini is finding his feet in the Lamborghini. Milliken giving him all he can handle. Oh, juking to the outside, but Verlini has the better line going into Fagni. Looking around the outside, shows the nose can't quite get through. Verlini hangs on to 11th for now. Go back to the front where this battle is nose to tail. Ricciardi perhaps not used to having anyone so close in his mirrors for a while. Talvidi hanging back, wondering how this is going to play out. And so at the end of lap 1, Ricciardi hangs on. Oh, look at this battle. My goodness. Williams, Lawn, and Gutierrez tangled together. Fortunately not in terms of sheet metal, but Gutierrez going to the inside of Lond and takes 7th. Now coming back down the hill for their second try at Eau Rouge. Gutierrez hangs on to the place. Everyone stays within bounds, and now that the tires are a bit warmer, cars weaving back and forth, trying to either brake or join the slipstreams. Lond briefly back in front of Gutierrez according to timing, but Gutierrez defends on the inside and keeps the place. Battles up and down the field, but we're peeking at this one for now. Much like the situation at in the latter half of the race at Donington, there are too many close battles to look at them all at once. Oh, and Lawn overcooks it coming down the hill. Takes to the grass. Loses 2 spots so far. Milliken not close enough to take advantage for a 3rd. But Laurent Land will be disappointed in that. These cars so twitchy on the edge of adhesion. One tiny little squeeze too much on the throttle and around it goes. Particularly on the slippery curbs here at Spa. You get an inside tire on one of these and you stomp the throttle at your peril. Now the battle for the lead down under 0.2 of a second as they go through Blanchemont. Ricciardi keeping to the inside. Gaining some time there. Let's switch to another view. Ricciardi, fastest lap of the race at 2:18. Well, just barely 2:18. Close enough to 2:19. Oh, and Williams is off at the bus stop. Cars streaming by as close as they were before. Any slightest misstep will spell disaster in terms of the timing sheet. Looks like he's gotten himself sorted now. But has lost significant time to Brown and Vandergeest, who are his competition before the incident. Now we flip up to Rodriguez, who is getting close to Bali. Rodriguez? Sorry. I was corrected about that earlier. Thanks for that. Rodriguez, formerly in the white and blue number 5, now in the black and blue number 7. Since the 5 is now Tony Talvidi's livery again. Battles starting to sort themselves out. Williams now trying to recover his position that he lost in the spin at the end of the previous lap, now filling the mirrors of Rob Milliken's Lister. As difficult as Spa is to get around, ooh, a little smoke here coming through Compass. As difficult as this track is to get around, particularly in cars that are also not the easiest to handle. Might have worried about disasters befalling the group. Oh, and Ricciardi, and the battle for the lead is on. Whoops. No, not that camera. This camera. Get on the leader, silly thing. Don't show me. I'm not interesting at all. Ricciardi battling for the lead now. He's pulled it out again. Over the hill. What a... Oh my. The car's lifting to the top of their suspension as they leap over the hill at Radion. There was a brief look to the inside from Stensnes, and Vandergeest has taken Brown for 4th on the Kemmel Straight. Oh, Brown sideways, trying to brake late and catch him out. But not going to happen this time. Oh. Talvidi with some tire smoke, trying to make it through Bruxelles. Seems to have gathered it up. It's interesting to speculate. Now, oh, and Olden shows red on the timing. He has looped it in Les Combes. Oh! It is some effort to get these things pointed in the right direction again once they're off. Looks like he's going to manage. This battle for the lead. Yeah. Well, at least it's not subtracting points off his score. It's just subtracting time. Stenson is all over the back of Ricciardi. Throwing the car through Blanchimont. Yeah. Definitely losing time in Sector 2 and then regaining it at the end of the lap. Here they are again, together on the front straight. Stensnes alongside, Ricciardi defending into La Source. He's able to hang on. The over-under is not successful, and they're back to where they were. Go on board here. Down to the bottom at Eau Rouge and up the hill again. Ooh. Barely holding within track limits, now pulling alongside. This is for the lead of the race. Where's Ricciardi? Oh, there he is, just out of frame. There's a better camera. Side by side into Les Combes. Oh, this could end in tears, but they make it work. Ricciardi holds on. Further down the sheet, Williams has made it past Milliken, but this is for the lead of the race. I'm going to stick with this for now. Under 3/10, nose to tail down the hill. Let's see if we can get, yes, the blimp shot added by Phoenix Racing, the author of LA Canyons. Also adds cool camera angles to various tracks in Assetto Corsa. This is the helicopter shot from his camera add-on for Spa. Available on Race Department or wherever fine mods are sold. Get to the chopper, Cam. It appears that Lond is catching Rodriguez, but we're sticking with this lead battle for now. Looks like Ricciardi has survived to pull out a lead, but anything can happen in the bus stop. The lead disappears again. And here we go down the front straight to complete another lap. 78 minutes remaining. Salvini hanging back, waiting to see how this plays out, perhaps. That's mostly within the lines. It's so hard to control these cars over the hill. Down to Ricciardi now, seems to have the edge. Stenson is holding the nose, making Ricciardi defend. He loses time. Oh, gets twitchy. Oh, takes to the inside, unsettles the Ferrari. And Ricciardi survives to fight another day. Let's go back on board with Stenson is here, right on the rear bumper of Ricciardi. This is by no means going to be an easy Saturday cruise for our points leader. The time penalties are turned off on the server in favor of human steward review after the race. So the replays are being recorded and will be reviewed. There's a protest process in case there's something that the marshals miss. But in general, SRO wants the racing to be decided by the guys in the cars and not by the arbitrary penalties imposed by the game. Oh, another video lock. That's annoying. And we're back. Please, computer, don't melt down. I like you. You allow me to race imaginary race cars. Or at least talk about them on YouTube. Right up the back bumper of Ricciardi. It seems that Ricciardi is able to pull out a lead towards the end of the lap, but it disappears again, and then Sector 1 is anybody's game. Trying for the over-under again, but too twitchy out of La Source. You see Talviti in the mirror, still waiting in the wings. Should disaster strike, or should these two battle each other into a bad lap time? Yes, good point in chat from Bill. If these two are close for the whole race, then the pit stops will be critical. And recall, I believe it was at CTMP that Ricciardi missed his pit stall and lost a significant amount of time. Still pulled out a win in the race. That's his only win of the season, in fact. But was pretty upset with himself. Oh, Stenson almost tosses it off the track going into Bruxelles. Gathers it back up and doesn't even lose time. Somehow sticks with Ricciardi. That was tense. Nothing to choose between these two going through Sector 2. Oh, braking for the entry to Fanian. Almost loops it. Rear end getting loose. Now onto the faster back section for Sector 3. This has been a gremlin for Ricciardi so far in the race. And at these speeds, the slipstream will have an effect. Side by side through Blanchemont. No, thinks better of it. Oh, a bit of a cheeky flash of the lights. Ricciardi defends to the inside as they enter the bus stop. Oh, and then switches back. Oh, Ricciardi twitches. And now they're door to door. Oop, wanders out. Oh, that's getting spicy now. Ricciardi trying to gather the car. Wanders out into the racing line. And that drama has put Talviti right into the thick of this battle. Let's go on board Talviti's car. This could get interesting. All three up through Radillon successfully again. Oh, the drama. Oh, the drama. Here is a three-car battle slicing back and forth across the track. Ricciardi dives to the inside but stays there. No double move. He committed to the inside. Manages to hold the place, but the more they fight, the more opportunity they will give Talviti to catch them up. Grinding through the gears, down the hill, through Bruxelles. Go up now to second place. You see Talviti lurking in the mirrors. He's showing the nose to Ricciardi going into the corner. Can't carry too much speed through here. They'll wander wide. Oh, a bit of a twitch. Now entering Campus, still nose to tail. There is plenty of great action going on this track as Laurent Lalonde gets around Rodriguez for 8th. But, I kind of feel like first and second being separated by no more than 3/10 at any given time is where I need to stay for now. Coming up to the bus stop again. Ricciardi still a bit twitchy, but hangs on a bit better. Ricciardi will need to be mindful of prior incidents in the season, having already served a drive-through for a move at Oschersleben, which was judged to be more than just exciting racing by the stewards. He did surrender the place and ended up hanging on for second there. But, oh, here we go. Defending to the inside again. Typical F1 stewards. Well, I mean, it was a pretty aggressive dive, but he has been very fast. I don't think anyone would begrudge him the results. These two are still nose to tail, getting a bit of impossible tires from the fenders of Ricciardi's car. Must have his suspension set pretty low. Some of these models having the same problem as some of the other Assetto Corsa mods, where the geometry of the tires versus the fenders will sometimes produce a bit of an open wheel effect. Stenson is backing off just a tad. Perhaps he burned the tires, perhaps he's conserving tires, maybe he just wants to settle in and run a race instead of bashing into Ricciardi and giving Talviti an opportunity. These guys have now strung out, still within under 2 seconds between the top three drivers. Not nearly the nail-biting intensity that it was a moment ago. But anything can happen as they come through La Source again. Stensness right back on the rear bumper of Ricciardi. Oh, and Ricciardi appears to have briefly disconnected. That could have spelled disaster. Oh my goodness. Breaking immersion just a tad as he becomes a spaceship, but returns to the course, and he's having connection problems again. Oh, I don't think that's me. I don't think that's me. And it would be quite a tragedy if he loses this position to bad internet. But, the crew in Joachim Stensness' pit is pulling out the voodoo dolls. That must have looked very dramatic from inside that second place Ferrari. Oh! And a bobble from Ricciardi. Sends the... Oh! And a touch! And Stensness takes the lead but goes around. Ricciardi retakes the place for now. Talviti goes through into second. That was a very aggressive move. And Stensness has paid the most for it. That will probably get a review later, but for now, doesn't seem to have lost but so much. The car is tracking straight. The tires would be a bit hot. The driver will be a bit hot. And again, Davide Ricciardi finds himself at the center of some drama at the front of the field. Yeah, I think that was an optimistic maneuver on Stensness' part. Speaking of... Oh no, Laurent Land has spun it again. Losing out to Williams and Rodriguez. Gotta get some cameras here. There we go. He is back underway. See if we can pick up anybody else. Williams now. Let's make sure he doesn't have any damage from any of that. Not quite sure yet. Rodriguez with a 222. He seems to have come off. Yeah, there's some scarring on the front of Williams' car, so there was some untold drama back there as well. But it seems to have sorted itself out. Land with a 236. Lost a lot of time recovering from that loop. Milliken appears to be catching Verlini. So we'll keep an eye on that. Closest interval so far at this point is now Phil Brown chasing John Van der Geest. The top three cars, Ricciardi, Talviti, and Stensness, who I will beg for forgiveness after this race. Oh, and Williams is catching Rodriguez. Oh, Rodriguez goes wide. Williams is there. Shows the nose down the hill, but does not commit. He's trying to unsettle Rodriguez just a bit. Into Fani. Steve Olden has found the grass again, it looks like. Briefly showed up red on timing. The Lister, already a difficult car to handle. Bring it to Spa, and drama ensues. Milliken still chasing Verlini. That interval is dropping. Stensness was almost a second faster than Talviti on that lap, but has not closed the gap by much. Williams again on the back of Rodriguez, going through the bus stop. See how this plays out on the front straight. Rodriguez 2 seconds, or a second and a half slower that lap. Ooh, right on the back, and Rodriguez feels the pressure, smokes the tires. And Williams is through. Milliken has now caught Verlini and overtaken him for 11th. He'll be happy with that. Rodriguez not giving up 8th. Trying to decide whether to take a different line or enjoy the slipstream. Now goes wide. Williams defends the inside. They go side by side into Les Combes. Williams survives that encounter. Rodriguez not giving up. Williams defending again to the inside, forcing Rodriguez out. Ooh, another twitch from the black and blue Saline. This appears to be the battle of the race at the moment. Laurent Land recovering from 2 spins, 8.5 seconds back from this pair. And Bali 7.5 seconds up the road from them. In front, Rodriguez going with an eccentric line through Fagnes. It stays with Williams. Stensness is catching Talvidi, now down to only half a second. We'll go up front now. That interval was 1.5 seconds, now under half a second, and through La Source, the Ferrari pulls even closer. Jump to the helicopter. Whoa, TV cam, that's cool. Helicopter view up through Radion. Talvidi slow. A little bit of a bobble unsettles the car. And Stensness is through for second. The battle is rejoined. And the number 12 Ferrari has made it through. And now has the task ahead of him to catch the points leader, Davide Ricciardi, at the front of the field in the, yes, orange Lamborghini. I wonder if he'd be interested in a gift of a zero bandwidth livery. That may be that he's going with a higher downforce setup. If he's losing time on the straights and gaining it in some of the longer corners, and that would certainly point to a higher downforce setup. Nobody wants to be that cursed. I mean, orange is bad enough. But being a member of my team, psh, no way. I actually have a teammate on SRO that's taken zero bandwidth liveries before. He actually does much better than I do. So it's not the color. It's the driver. This gap is melting away. Now down to 1.8 seconds. Ricciardi with a 2:19.0. Stensness with a 2:18.6. So this gap is closing. We will have a battle for the lead ere long. Phil Brown catching John Vandergeest as well. This is for 4th place. Now under a second, and it was closing. Now back to a second. It's tough to gauge going through some of these. Oh, and Rodriguez is pitting. We are at the half-hour mark Rodriguez pitting now. Pay no mind to the Viper, that's me. I am safely ensconced in the pits where I can't get in the way. Now, this is an interesting strategy, taking the early pit stop. Because this will mean he will either need to make 2 stops or make a set of tires last for an hour. Which will be a challenge. Go back to the action now with Phil Brown still chasing John Vandergeest, now down to 6/10. Coming through the end of Sector 2. Yeah, higher downforce could preserve the tires a bit better. Also, not frantic driving will preserve the tires better. He's been very patiently waiting in the wings in 3rd place there. And that may prove to be a winning strategy later in the race when his tires are better than everyone else's. Brown now down under 4/10 to Vandergeest. Through Blanchement. I believe these guys are taking it near enough to flat out. I could never get up the nerve for that. Phil Brown twitchy into the bus stop. Remember, he was struggling for grip in the braking zones at Donington as well. So, oh, and Vandergeest bobbles the bus stop, and Brown is through. Watching the wrong Ferrari of that pair, and Vandergeest now falls to 5th. But, yeah, Phil Brown, very twitchy entering the corners at Donington, and we see that again here at the end of that long flat-out section that leads up to the bus stop, braking hard for those slower corners. His setup seems to be a bit more of a challenge than the other Ferrari drivers. Ricciardi stretching out to nearly 2 seconds again. With a clear track ahead, perhaps he is settling into a rhythm finally. More importantly, clear track behind him, not harrying him in the mirror. And he's not quite shaking off the incident, now down to 1.5 seconds. To Phil Brown. Gutierrez catching them up in the Lister. Ooh, Rodriguez, with a 3:09 because, yes, he pitted. So that's our first apparently regularly scheduled pit stop. I didn't see any incident with him before that, so it looks like he's simply going with an early pit strategy. We'll see where he came out. He's in open track, so perhaps if he's got 26 seconds of open road ahead of him, if he can indeed charge through on new tires and perhaps make up a bit of time, then he could gain some spots. We saw Gutierrez try that at Donington, but was not able to keep the pace up. And Talviti ran him down in the pit cycle and was able to retake the lead there. Vandergeest perhaps struggling for grip. Yes, he goes into the pits. Vandergeest pits after losing time to both Brown and Gutierrez. So with only 35 minutes and change gone in the race, we're already seeing what appear to be regularly scheduled pit stops. I don't know if this means there are people running a 2-stop strategy, or whether this is simply people coming in for perhaps harder tires and hoping they will last till the end. We'll go back to the front now. Stensness with a 1.7 second deficit to Ricciardi. Ricciardi going wide on the exit to Bruxelles. Holding the place for now. As long as the pit road is at Spa, I can't imagine that a two-stop strategy would really gain that much time. But these cars do fuel pretty slowly. So it's possible that a two-stop strategy might play out. That pit road is very, very long. When you're fighting for position, it's real hard to take sometimes to struggle through on the pit limiter. While other cars are passing you by. Stensness down to a second now, behind Ricciardi. Go to the static cam showing La Source. 2:18.4. He is pulling in some not quite qualifying times, but definitely at the lead of the pack. To go down and then up again. Ricciardi, ooh, oh, both of the two leaders cutting way inside at Radion. Too late to catch Talvidi's line, but both Ricciardi and Stensness looked like they were well inside of the curb at the top of Radion. Of course, go too far inside and you get onto paint and curbs, and that won't help anyone. Sticking with the chopper cam. We go down through Bruxelles. Yeah, in addition to the long pit road, the entry to the pit road at Spa is torture. It's like, oh, I don't have any damage to repair. And then I tried pit entry, and now I do have damage to repair. I'm glad I installed this camera pack because the helicopter view is pretty good. Through Blanchemont. Nearing the end of another lap. You can see the battle scars on the side of Stensness' car as a telltale of his earlier battle with Ricciardi coming out of the bus stop. The lead now down to a second. Ricciardi turning a 2:18.7. Definitely picked up the pace, seeing the black and gray Ferrari in his mirrors again. Talvidi 4 seconds back. Not out of it. Definitely playing the long game, though. Ricciardi far to the inside at Eau Rouge, inside at Radion. Still within track limits, technically. They weren't inside of the inside edge of the curb. So I don't think that will run afoul of the officials. As hard as these cars are to control, you're pretty much desperate for any line that will keep you from just flying into outer space at the top of Radion. Oh, Van der Geest is way down the order. I guess he has also pitted. I didn't see it go by on the timing sheet. Van der Geest in 11th now, harrying the back of Giacomo Verlini in the, I guess, sole entry from BritTech in this race. Don't see Dean Timms. Ah yes, Van der Geest did pit for tires. We did see that. I've just already forgotten. There's too much going on. My brain, it hurts. Back to the front now. Oop, Vandergeest very close to Verlini now. We'll see how this plays out through Radion. Oh, Verlini goes way wide. How does he rejoin? Vandergeest gives him the room, but Verlini gives him the place, and Vandergeest is through for 10th. Ooh, that was a scary moment for Verlini. Pushing wide through the corner at Eau Rouge, and and Vandergeest a little too eager on the throttle, going through the right-hander at Lecombe. Gathers it back up. Stensnes again with a faster lap than Ricciardi at the top of the field. This lead is not safe by any means. And with just under 48 minutes to go, we're coming up on the halfway point, and now we may see the beginning of some increased activity on pit road. If these drivers are pushing to make it a one-stop race, we'll be looking at the halfway point as a target. It will be interesting to see who jumps first. There's no possibility of a full course caution to take advantage of. All the stops will be under green. But it'll be an interesting strategy call to see whether it's better to wait and save new tires for the end, or whether it's better to jump in early. Williams also getting close to Bali. Yes, he is. This is now down to a second. Williams is coming back up the field. I don't think either of these drivers has pitted yet. Now down to a second, but they're going through Bruxelles. These intervals will tend to shrink with the accordion effect going into the corners as they enter an acceleration zone, and the interval stretches back out over a second, but then contracts again, entering the next corner. So are these two different Ferraris? I believe they might be. There's a 55 and a 57. Oh, and Ricciardi has pitted. So in answer to the question of who will jump first, Ricciardi is in and Talviti pits with him. Oh my. And this time he's very carefully hitting the pit box. Where's Talviti? Is he behind or ahead? He is way up at the top of pit road. Phil Brown also in, so Stensnes will now have clear track to try and open up a gap and perhaps leap over Ricciardi in the pit cycle. Oh, the agony of waiting for this pit stop to be over. Bali is also in. There he is, entering his pit stall. Laurent Land is in, so everybody jumping at the halfway point. Ricciardi finally underway. We'll see if he makes it out in front of Talviti. He does. Now, where is Stensnes on the track? He is already... so he's going through No Name. He's coming down to Fani, so he's in no danger of lapping Ricciardi. We'll see if he comes in this time. Oh, Verlini showing red. Oh, he has looped it in the bus stop. Rodriguez sneaking past him. Verlini taking this opportunity to, well, if the lap time is burned anyway, might as well come into the pits. barely missing the wall. Doesn't appear to have any damage. So that's good. So pit stops are well underway. Everyone seems to have jumped at the same time. Except for our leader, who is completing another lap. He will lead a lap at Spa during the pit cycle. Now, we saw Gutierrez try this strategy at Donington. Wasn't able to take advantage of the clear track to open up enough of an interval over Talvidi to maintain the lead after the pits. Stensness has shown the pace to battle head-to-head with Ricciardi for lap times. Talvidi 11 seconds back from Ricciardi now. Yeah, that pit stop seems to have taken a bit longer for Talvidi. Oh! Bit of a jump. Oh, he doesn't quite have the clear track that he would have wanted. He has another car in front of him. I believe that is Olden. Yes, in his custom lister. Olden pulls aside, honors the blue flag. So, Stensness unobstructed now. Williams pits from third. So Williams is in after fighting his way back up the field. Got 43 seconds to get his pit stop done. If he does, he will be back with his good friendo Phil Brown from last time out at Donington. I believe Rodriguez pitted first, so he will be catching Bali for actual position. I'll take a look. So Bali has just pitted, Rodriguez has already pitted. We go back to the leader, through Blanchemont now. We'll see if he jumps into the pits. But if his tires are still okay and he hasn't lost any lap time, he may elect it, and he does. He's making the left. He's staying out for another lap. Joachim Stensness. God, I hope I'm saying that right, because I'm saying it a lot. Because he is at the front of the action. Steve Olden makes his pit stop, having just gone a lap down to the leader. Yeah, in the head-to-head battle, he didn't seem to have enough of an advantage to make the overtake, so now he just has to see if he can take advantage of the open track. And we've seen when he was catching Ricciardi, he did have the pace to catch that orange Lamborghini again and again. We'll see now that he's all by himself whether he can keep that alive and pull out enough of a lead to leap Ricciardi in the pit cycle. We're on board. So smooth going through Bruxelles. This is driving skill that I was not able to achieve in the least. It's amazing to watch somebody actually do well in these cars. Oh, Brown briefly showed off the track. His split time is not moving, perhaps. Oh, now he's lost 3 seconds, but is back underway. Williams on the back of Rodriguez. I was going to stay with a lap of the leader, but this battle is heating up, so I'll jump to it. Bali directly in front of them as well. This may become a 3-car battle. But not if they keep harrying each other. Williams is on an outlap and still has the pace on Rodriguez. Cutting just to the inside on La Source, trying to perhaps awaken the spotter in Rodriguez's ear. And Stensness is in. Oh, and Williams loses the car through Radion. Does he keep it off the wall? He does. With a heroic effort. Loses the place, but not the car. Oh my, that could have been a disaster. But crisis averted. That battle is briefly over, but he will live to race another day. Now here is Joachim Stensness, where Gutierrez is also in from second. So where is Ricciardi? 30 seconds back for now. Uh-oh, what is this? Oh, the split's just confused. Where is he on track? He's going through Blanchemont now. So he will be catching. There he is in the background, coming through the bus stop. And down the front straight, Stensness is moving, but Ricciardi will retake the lead following the pit cycle. He will beat out the Ferrari and retake the point in the race. Stensness now 5 seconds back. He too seems to have lost a lot of time in the pit cycle. Ricciardi, after a pit mishap in the opening round, has definitely sorted that situation out and is now back in the lead comfortably this time. For now. But as we saw in the first half of the race, both Stensness and Talvidi have the pace to catch him up. So this 5-second lead could be 2 or could be nothing soon enough. Meanwhile, speaking of leads disappearing, Phil Brown all over the back of Johnny Gutierrez. Gutierrez defends to the inside, but Brown seems to have the speed advantage, and the timing sheet shows him ahead, but they're still side by side in the corner. Brown twitchy again. Still side by side. Gutierrez swinging wide. Brown pulls inside to avoid him, but now has the better line on the exit. Brown takes the spot. Hangs on to take fourth. Vandergeest now has caught them up in the midst of all that, and now it's a 3-car battle. So while the leaders are stretched out, this is the fight of the race at the moment. Yeah, can Stensness close a 5-second gap in half an hour? Well, 36 minutes. He closed a 3-second gap in a couple of laps, so we'll see. We'll have to keep calm and carry on. Yeah, doing it once is hard. Doing it twice is like having one of those dreams where you go through your whole morning routine and then you wake up and realize it was all fake. Brown stretching out a lead after that overtake. Gutierrez now forced to deal with Vandergeest in his mirrors. Bit of smoke from Vandergeest as he brakes for the bus stop. Let's see, go back to the chopper cam. Gutierrez came out of the pits this lap into the midst of this battle. Go on board with Vandergeest as he chases Gutierrez up the hill. Ooh, it's so hard to stay to the inside there. Where will they break? All the way to second for Lecombe. Everybody using the extra margin for a bit of extra space. get the car sped up without spinning out. Laurent Land is also catching Rodriguez. Or was. Look at the wheel inputs. Trying to get these cars to turn. Gutierrez braking hard for Fagnes. Vandergeest right on his... Ooh, a little bobble. Trying to get back on the power. These cars so twitchy when you get the power down. The motor's so easily overpowering the mechanical grip of the tires. Oh, and I was just about to say I should flip to Roland, but he's already through. He makes the move on Rodriguez just behind that battle. And he's now through into 8th. The lead, Ricciardi from Stensness already down to 3.7 seconds. So, ooh, that was an aggressive line through Radion, but we were wondering if he'd have the pace to catch Ricciardi by the end. And here it is, plus Ricciardi appears to be coming up on some traffic. Not sure who that is in front of him. That is Giacomo Verlini in 12th place in the Britsport Lamborghini. So we'll see if traffic is a factor. The lead already down to 2.6 seconds now. Oh my. This is going to happen sooner than we thought. Meanwhile, Vandergeest chopping down the interval to Gutierrez ahead. Gutierrez still a tad unsettled in the car. But stretches it out on the exit of Lecom. Oh, and Vandergeest very twitchy. He hits the paint. Tries to put the power down, and it starts to go out from behind him. Heroically hangs onto the car. Lost some time to Gutierrez, though. He will be, again, frustrated to get that back. And now the lead is under 2 seconds already. It appears that Ricciardi may be held up here. Verlini pulls aside, honors the blue flag. Ricciardi is through. Stensness also should get through here. Yes, he does. With a 2:17.0 on that lap, puts him under 2 seconds to Ricciardi. This is going to be a race, folks. Ricciardi through Radion. Stensness follows. It's a much cleaner line that time as well. Now down to 1.5 seconds. This is definitely closing at a rapid pace. Talviti now 10 seconds back, thereabouts. He is not out of this. Particularly if this lead pair gets a little too spicy in their battle for the lead. Catching Ricciardi is one thing. Passing him is entirely a new thing. Keep in mind as well that Ricciardi has now raced in 4 rounds of this series. And in the last 3, he has been in 2nd place. He will be hungry to put another gold star as opposed to the silver on his season. And without an asterisk next to it. But this lead is now down under 1 second. Ferrari very twitchy. Yeah, his defense is robust. not overly aggressive, at least from where I'm sitting. I'm sure his competitors would disagree in the heat of the moment. Let's go to the chopper cam. As I go through the bus stop, Stensnes with an aggressive line. Ricciardi has been twitchy coming out of here. And he is again side by side down the front straight. Ricciardi wandering out to the middle. Stensnes tucking in behind, now swooping to the outside. Side by side through La Source. Ricciardi has the better line and will hold the lead. But we're now already, after only about 10 minutes, we're already talking about holding on to the lead and rather than extending it or maintaining it. He is hanging on for the lead of this race. Newcomer to the series, Joachim Stensnes, is right there in the slipstream. Ricciardi to the inside, and the Ferrari is pulling him down the Kemmel Straight. That was naughty. That was naughty. And the Ferrari goes inside. Ricciardi hangs on, but that seemed to be not a constant line down the Kemmel Straight. Kind of wish I'd been in the car for that one just to see what the wheel inputs were, but yeah. I don't know whether Stensnes was actually conceding the place there going inside of the chicane, or whether he was forced there. But in any case, we're back to this battle being Ricciardi in first. That may have just been netcode as well. It didn't seem like the contact was severe, and in fact, I don't see... I dare not peek away to look at the cars, but I don't think there was even any... Oh, and Ricciardi! Oh, Ricciardi almost loses it coming out of the corner. Stensnes tries to avoid him and loses the car himself. Oh, no. F and double F. Talvidi may take second as well. He will. Stensnes not yet back up to speed, so now... Oh, the frustration upon frustration. Ricciardi almost lost the car. Stensnes braked, trying to avoid hitting him, and looped the car himself. And we have... yeah, we're going to need a replay on that. The computer is now freezing again. That's less than wonderful. But now we're back to the action, and we have Stensnes catching Talvidi already going through La Source. Let's go on board. Not sure why I'm getting so many slowdowns today, but apologies for that. Is the stream at least halfway decent? Oh, barely holds onto the car. That's such a scary corner. At these speeds in these cars, the downforce is really just for show. He's to the inside. Looks like he's going to pull Talvidi going into Les Combes. Talvidi brakes early and gives the play. Oh! The Ferrari twitchy through the corner. There's somebody yapping over the car noises. Who is that guy? Yep, and now Stensnes has it to do all over again. Now 8.5 seconds this time. Well, it took him 10 minutes to chop off 5 seconds. So it'll take him maybe 15 minutes to chop off 8 seconds. And that still leaves him 10 minutes to make an overtake. As we are now just under 25 minutes to go in the race. Meanwhile, Laurent Land is catching Roberto Bali for 7th place. Yeah, he has surely roasted the tires trying to recover from that spin. Let's get a camera that's actually looking at the cars now. Bali and Land in a battle for 7th. And Ricciardi may be in a position now to not quite go easy, but not stress the tires too overmuch and perhaps save them for the end of the race when he knows Stensness will have caught him. Because in any other roll of those dice, Ricciardi would have lost the car and the lead. But he got extremely lucky there. And the car that would have overtaken him spun trying to avoid him instead. And now it's back to a Ricciardi lead, but already down to 7.5 seconds. Meanwhile, in the other number 12 Ferrari, Laurent Land all over the back of Roberto Bali. Bali pulls wide and appears to concede the place because Land is straight through. Swinging through Blanchimont, Land already opening up a lead. So it appears that Bali simply let that happen rather than losing time in a battle, which is very often a wise move. Why fight and lose your chance to take the next place when you can simply tuck in behind your adversary and go up the track with him and live to fight another day? Land through into 7th, 19 seconds back from John Vandergeest. He appears to be all by himself on track. Gutierrez is next up the field in 5th, less than a second behind Phil Brown in the multicolored Ferrari. Still having issues on turn-in with the twitchy front end under heavy braking. Not sure if Gutierrez is actually catching him up. That Lister, hard to handle. Oh, and we've had a change for 9th as Williams gets past Rodriguez, who is overcorrecting through Les Combes. And Williams through to 9th. Ooh, heavy smoke coming from the back of the Saleen as he overcooks the exit again. We'll go back to Gutierrez and Brown. This is the fight for 4th. Stensness already cutting the lead to under 6 seconds now. Ricciardi with a 2:19. That is well off of his pace. Stensness with a 2:17.3. He is setting qualifying laps, catching up Ricciardi. This is going to be a race again. You can count on that. But again, catching is one thing, overtaking quite another, as we've seen. That battle has gotten a bit too spicy for the palate. Oh, Gutierrez tucking in behind Brown. Can't quite get it done through the bus stop on this lap. We'll go overhead again. Looking through La Source. Brown very twitchy. But Gutierrez twitchy on exit. Can't quite pull off the speed. Looks like Brown will hold on to the place for now. The lead now down under 6 seconds. Ooh, both of them tucking in under or over Radion. And now the long pull down the Kemmel Straight. Brown defending to the inside, but then coming back for the line. Yeah. Definitely taking advantage of the arguably over-strict bounds imposed by Assetto Corsa. The penalties are off. Hello, welcome, Caitlin. We are just under 20 minutes to go in round 5 of the GT1 Championship at Spa-Francorchamps. Davide Ricciardi leads Joachim Stensness. I will be sending him a DM after this race to get that right, because I know I'm not. That lead is shrinking. We will see that battle renewed once again before the end of this race, if Joachim has anything to say about it. This has already been a spicy battle. Ricciardi down to a 2:18. He must have seen that time shrinking on his relative because he has picked up his pace. to match that of the Ferrari behind him. Meanwhile, Gutierrez still chasing Phil Brown. Oh, and Verlini has rather suddenly dropped off the chart. I didn't see him go off. He has disconnected. That is a shame. And, oh, and let's go back to Brown, because that was a wiggle coming out of the bus stop. Oh, Verlini is back. So only a brief disconnection, but I think that may drop him into the pits, and that is someone pitting again. Vandergeest in for a second stop. So either Vandergeest has burned his tires, or perhaps he was on two-stop strategy all along. But that will drop him out of the top 6. And perhaps further. Now, back to the battle for 4th. Brown, ooh, very far over the curb. Can't do that too many times without drawing the ire of the marshal. And Ricciardi is off. The connection problems that were plaguing Ricciardi at the beginning of the race have come back to haunt him, and Ricciardi is off the course. Stenson is through, Talviti to second. Oh, what a tragedy for Davide Ricciardi, who was maintaining the lead. But his earlier flights of fancy off the track with connection problems in the first half of the race have turned to disaster. Now he's back. He's back on the server. Will it allow him back into his place? He's fallen to 5th thus far. Verlini was allowed to continue. We'll see where he pops back into existence. He is in the pits. Ricciardi is bound to the pits and must be fuming. Oh, disaster has struck the championship leader. He's back underway in 6th place, now 7th. Bali has gone through. Williams has gone through. Oh, heartbreak for Davide Ricciardi. Rodriguez through. Vandergeest is through. Ricciardi now to 10th place on the timing sheet. He must have lost that lap. Oh, and his tires are cold. Oh. Yeah, he's not happy. And who would be after leading the race and being knocked off by the sim racing equivalent of mechanical failure? Oh, disaster for the championship leader. Well, this is exactly what Tony Talviti needed in terms of the championship. He had that one bad race at VIR and has since been winning races. Now the tables have turned on his main rival in the championship, and Ricciardi now struggling with the car and perhaps his temper. Because, oh, the heartache from the lead of the race. Davide Ricciardi disconnects from the race and is forced back to the pits. At least he was able to rejoin, but now holding on for a top 10 finish. We go to the leader, Joachim Stensnes. We got to get that corrected. Talviti 7 seconds back and has at least one lapped car between them. I believe that was Rob Milliken in the Lister. Yes, it is. But Milliken being only 10 seconds back from Ricciardi means that Ricciardi is in danger of going a lap down to the leader that he was battling. Oh. Oh, the indignity. Meanwhile, let's see, Brown, has Gutierrez gone through on Brown? He has. So the battle that was for 4th is now for 3rd, and Gutierrez is through. But Brown coming back around the outside on the approach to Blanchemont. We'll go to the chopper. Brown taking an aggressive line into the chicane. Didn't work out for him, but Gutierrez goes wide. And it all washes out. Oh, Davide Ricciardi must be fuming in that Lamborghini. Phil Brown through Eau Rouge and now up the hill through Radion. That gap opening back up to a second. Williams appears to be catching along, but what is their interval? 3 seconds, so that may close by the end of the race. We're now under just coming up to 13 minutes to go. Talviti 9 seconds behind the leader. Unless disaster strikes again, it appears that his bid for a hat trick may be dwindling into impossibility. Joachim Stensness stretches out again. Well, the fates have smiled on the newcomer to the series as he will debut at the top of the podium unless anything else untoward happens between now and then. But 12 and a half minutes is a long time. We shall see. Ricciardi sets a 2:17.5. He is not giving up on this. The leader with a 2:19.5. His pace has definitely relaxed. Oh, Gutierrez very wide coming out of campus. Brown may be able to take advantage here. On the approach to Blanchimont. And then into the bus stop. Again, Brown climbing over the curbs, unsettling the car. Not sure that's really the best line. Van der Geest through on Rodriguez. Let's see how that happened. That was back also through campus. Looks like Van der Geest has caught him and passed. Van der Geest back up to 8th after making a second pit stop. Couldn't quite tell whether that was unplanned or whether he was on a two-stop strategy all along, but in any case, he's back to 8th and will be catching up the sister car of Roberto Bali. Looking briefly off, but he is back underway. Saw that flash red. Oh, and Verlini has again also lost connection. That will be his second time. Hopefully he will pop back into existence. Yes, he did. So both Ricciardi and Verlini plagued with connection problems tonight. But both Lamborghinis. If this were a real race, people would be wondering about the reliability of the Lamborghini motor. But it's all imaginary, and really we're wondering about the reliability of Lamborghini Internet. Phil Brown, twitchy under braking. That setup that he's running on that Ferrari. We saw it at Donington and again tonight. He really has to struggle with that car to get it slowed down for the corners. We'll go on board now with Brown. Going through campus, still chasing Gutierrez for the last step on the podium. Verlini off again. So connection problems plaguing two of the drivers in this race. But the more consequential for the championship, Davide Ricciardi from the lead, forced to pit, and now finds himself in 10th place. It appears the problems that are plaguing Verlini may be terminal this time. Coming up on 9 minutes to go in the race. The lead that Stensnes has on Talviti appears to have stabilized at about 8 seconds. But with 8 minutes to go, I don't think Talviti's going to find the pace. And, oh, Brown very wide going up to Radion. And gathers the car back up. Hasn't gained or lost any time, but that was a scary ride over the curb. Rodriguez back into the pits. I need to stop pronouncing that as Rodriguez because it's Rodriguez, as he has informed me very kindly at the beginning of the race. He is into the pit, rather askew, but apparently for another planned stop. Maybe he was also, like Vandergeest, on a two-stop strategy. So Ricciardi may regain 9th if... No. Interesting. He just came in perhaps for a splash. He miscalculated fuel on his first stop, maybe. Where is Ricciardi? He is... That's me. It's not Ricciardi. He's just coming out of the bus stop now. So that is not a 45-second gap. It is more like a 14-second gap. So Rodriguez does not lose the place for his splash and dash, but he does have Davide Ricciardi chasing him with 7.5 minutes to go. I would not want to be in that position. Tony Talviti with a 2:18.4, a great pace, but not enough to shrink the lead of Joachim Stensnes, who is already up the hill through Radion. And coming up behind the man he was fighting for the lead, but now to put him a lap down. Not sure I'd want to try that, to be honest. Although faced with a blue flag, Ricciardi may simply concede, as he won't be battling for position anymore. Oh, that's too bad. Olden is off at Bruxelles. Oh, he's to the outside of Bruxelles. The car has grounded to a halt. Is he out of fuel, perhaps? Yep, no engine noise. Oh, Steve Olden has run out of fuel. He will have to get a tow back to the pits. He may be struggling with the decision of hitting the warp button, since there are prohibitions against that, but if he's out of fuel, there's nothing else he can do. Meanwhile, Vandergeest has now caught up to Roberto Bali in the other red Ferrari and is running him down in the slipstream down the Kemmel Straight, now down under 3/10. And Bali spins. Bali loses the car trying to stay in front of Vandergeest. Doesn't hit the wall, just runs into the grass and recovers to fight another day, but Vandergeest is through to 7th, having lost practically nothing from his two-stop strategy. He's back up to one place behind where he was before. Talviti now back to almost 10 seconds to the deficit of the leader. And someone please tell Steve Olden that it is okay to warp back when he's out of fuel. Otherwise, he's going to be throwing a caution flag in that corner for the rest of the race, and we have 5 minutes to go. But this appears to be the closest battle on track now. Brown still chasing Johnny Gutierrez in the Lister. Brown again twitchy in the braking zone. Needs to put some more tow on that car. Nothing to choose between them in terms of lap time on that lap. But Phil Brown all over the back of Gutierrez's Lister, with perhaps this lap and 2 more to go. Joachim is down the hill from Bruxelles now, so he will complete this lap and another, and then receive the white flag. So we're on this lap and 2 more, or thereabouts. Brown still on the back of Gutierrez. This appears to be the battle to watch for the remainder of the race, although Andrew Williams also catching up to the back of Laurent Land for 5th place. They're just coming up to Kemmel Straight now. Oh, Brown down to 4 seconds, 4/10 of a second again. They're nose to tail coming down from Bruxelles. Through the double apex left at the bottom of the hill. And approaching Fagnes. Steve-O, it's okay, man. Just warp back. 2:18.4 for Stensnes. He is not relaxing. Now stretching out to 11 seconds. He wants to win this race with authority. 2:19.7 from Talvidi. Brown backing off slightly, going through Sector 3. We'll take a look at his car as he approaches the braking zone. Oh, it's twitchy again. Oh, throwing a bit of tire smoke as well. Oh, and you could hear the throttle application coming up the hill. And it was just enough to throw the back end of the car out. That was just the right place to be for that audio. And Phil Brown, in his eagerness to catch up to Gutierrez, has nearly lost the car, gathered it back up, but lost 3 seconds. And Land showing red on the screen. He is in the grass. Laurent Land has given up 5th to Andrew Williams in the bus stop. Now, was that his action, or was there a coming together? Impossible to tell unless we jump to the replay. That'll have to happen after the race. That gap was shrinking. Land perhaps feeling the pressure. Goes off this. It's all too easy to lose the car trying to accelerate out of that chicane. Now he finds himself in 6th. Williams up to 5th in the yellow Ferrari. So again, we have 5 Ferraris in the middle of the pack, starting with Brown to Williams, Land, Vandergeest, and Bally. One has to wonder what would happen if that ballast was removed. Although, I don't think all of the Ferraris have the ballast. But let the speculation run rampant. 2:17.7 from Stensnes. Okay, he's not relaxing at all. Where is he? Stensnes has just taken the white flag. We have only 40 seconds to go, and he's just crossed the finish line. So we are now on the final lap of the race. After 89.5 minutes, Joachim Stensnes has maintained the lead at 2:19 from Talvidi. He has backed off, and it looks like he's going to settle for the middle step of the podium as Joachim continues to chase the man that he would have fought for the lead. No white flags in Europe. Well, you know what? As a Merkin commentator, I waved the white flag on the last lap. Is that why the iRacing guy says, white flag, that means 1 lap to go? But yes, I know, you say that every race. Oh. French white flag, I get it. Let's see, is there anything else that may be in contention? We have John Vandergeest chasing down Laurent Land now. He's within 2 seconds. Ooh, smoke from the tires. These guys will get another lap because they are in front of the leader, who is just approaching Fagnes now. So Vandergeest has another lap and has a 1.5 seconds on Laurent Land. This battle will persist after the end of the race. But Joachim Stensnes, in his first race of the series, looks like he will debut at the top. Very smooth, coming out into the fast, flat-out section of Sector 3. Now through Blanchemont for the final time. As if out for a Saturday drive to the grocery. Joachim Stensnes, coming out of the bus stop now, will take a victory in his debut race. Comes across the line to win round 5 of the GT1 Series 2 at Spa in a commanding performance full of drama and slightly bashed fiberglass. Talvidi crosses the line in second place. Gutierrez, 37 seconds back, will now go back to the battle still underway between Vandergeest and Lond. They have Rob Milliken between them now. 1.6 seconds the gap. And they're now about to be in Sector 3. Vandergeest very wide and into the grass, but so is Lond. Vandergeest recovers first. Lond is fully off the track and not moving. Lond appears to be out of fuel on the final lap. Oh no, after struggling to get back into 6th place, Laurent Lond has run out of fuel in the final seconds and is falling down the order. Vandergeest continues on. Oh, this race is not over yet. Brown has crossed in 4th place. Gutierrez hung on for the final step of the podium. Lond warps to the pits. He is out of fuel. Vandergeest can't hold on to the car. Bashes into Rob Milliken in the final corner. Williams crosses the line for 5th. Vandergeest hanging on for 6th after a 2-stop strategy. Oh, but he will. Yes, he just finished before the end of the session, so he will get credit for that lap. 6th place. Rob Milliken somehow running his own race for most of the evening, somehow still not escaping body damage at the end of the race. Laurent Lond, tragedy strikes. He runs out of fuel, but with the end of the session hitting when it did, he still gets credit for 7th place overall, followed by Bali and Rodriguez. Riccardi has already logged off, but comes home to round out the top 10s. But Joachim Stensnes, whose name I have murdered, he was killing it out there in the race. He takes the win in his debut with SimRacingOnline. Tony Talvidi comes home with 2nd. Gutierrez 3rd. Brown 4th. Andrew Williams in the top 5. Vandergeest comes back for 6th. An incredible race. In the back half of the field, it looked like Milliken. Let's see, who was still back there? I don't know. I lost it. And now the session has changed. What a finish to that race. Thank you, Caitlin, for the kind words. This has been fun. Oh my goodness, what an end to the race. Tragedy strikes for Davide Ricciardi. From the lead of the race, losing connection. And that's it. Gonna need a replay for that contact. Yeah, let's do that. I believe I have. I'll pull up the title card for a moment. And of course that kills the audio. So there we go. Now I still have a title card and I can still talk to people. Let's go back to the replay of. Yeah, that pass for the lead. I believe this is it. And I got the whole race. Awesome. Oh, and a screenshot of one of my races. You're welcome. That was a fun car. Of course, I crashed it into the wall on a dead straight piece of road, but that's a story for another day. Yep. Ricciardi with the orange car curse. It came back to haunt him after all. Yeah, 2 people out of fuel. Too bad for Laurent Land and Steve Olden getting caught up. Land in particular, in the closing, see how after the leader has crossed the finish line, in the closing seconds of the race, Laurent Land in Sector 3, running out of fuel. Yes, that was a fantastic race. Please DM me with coaching on how to pronounce your name, because I'm afraid I have been killing it the entire time. Yes, so with 25 minutes to go, that would be somewhere around, exactly where I clicked, maybe? Let's move forward to Gutierrez, Van der Geest, Olden, Bali, Land, Rodriguez, Williams, Milliken, Ricard. Oh, here we go. And we're going to need to just turn the stuff off. John, that was a good race. Ricciardi appears to have lost connection. Tragedy struck. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here's the fight. Let's go inside Stevens' car. Whoa! Okay, well there it was. I missed it, so I'm going to rewind it. Stensnez on the curb. Ricciardi loses the car. He appears to hit the inside curb there and has to catch the car, and Stensnez has nowhere to go. Yep, Ricciardi just catches the inside curb, has to catch the car, and just gets in the way. And while the avoiding action was indeed heroic to save a much worse incident, it means that he lost second and briefly fell back to third as well. But then, yeah, later in the race, Ricciardi running for his life after that. Let's see if we can catch the moment. And it all goes wrong. I don't quite remember. Yep, there it is. You can see the connection was wavering. And then off it goes into the stratosphere, and away goes Davide Ricciardi's chances at a win. Yeah, he was losing it at the beginning of the race, but then this one was the one that spelled disaster. What a finish. Let's also go back to... Apologies for the flashy cam. We'll go to Laurent Land and watch that battle at the end of the race. Oh, too far. There we go. Okay, so here it is. So here's Land. We have Van der Geest behind him. Milliken between. Yeah, let's see if we can see this. That's too far, and that's not far enough. Let's see. He's not short shifting. He's definitely still trying to keep it going. And then it just cuts out on him. Van der Geest must have been he must have been like, "Oh no, I'm about to lose the car. Oh wait." And now he's pulling over. All right, let's see if we can find We'll go back. Apologies again for the flashy cam as I flip through people. So let's go to... Well, here's as good a place as any. I forget about what time it was that battle happened on the front stretch, but it was about here. This race was just on from start to finish. Good night, John. Yeah. I think this may have been the lap. Nope, this is the next one. Of course, I don't have lap markers on the replay. Let's see if I can do this by hand and not miss anything. Maybe? Yeah, there was definitely some action throughout the race. Quiet. There was Ricciardi's first bouts of disconnection. And that was at 23 minutes in. He must have been thinking, oh no, don't do it to me. There's a spin. I think it was just before this, wasn't it? Oh, yeah. Nope, it wasn't this lap. I know there was one coming out of the bus stop. Apologies for going back and forth here. Yeah, here's the first problems with connection. Alright, we'll just watch this lap. This was a good one. We'll go inside Joachim's car. We're both onto the paint. Wiggle, wiggle. He may not have seen you. Let's see. He was definitely coming back for the line. But that may have just been a case of him not noticing that there was a car there. Yep. I think what happened here is that you out-braked him into this corner, and he just didn't expect you to be alongside already. Yep. You overtook him going to the outside, and he was just sort of taking a line, and you were very suddenly there. So that was just a case of, you know, that was clearly just one of those racing incidents where you had the overtake, but surprised him. There were a lot of close calls in that race between you and Davide. That was a great race. I'd really like to find the one that happened on the front stretch as well, but yeah, in the end, the new kid in town comes out on top. him. And there's your race winner. So it's a bit late in the season to talk about championship points for you, but this is definitely a shakeup in the standings for the folks who were already at the top. Talvidi with the second place will get 38 points. And Ricciardi, I believe, will get 20, which will... Ooh, if that's true, then they will end up tied. Let me just pull that up. See if I can briefly do that research. As we watch the replay continue of your race winner. Let's see. There it is. So Tony Talvidi is currently 18 points back from Davide Ricciardi, and if Ricciardi finishes in 10th, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. Ricciardi will get 18 points for 10th place, and Talvidi will get 36 for second. The difference between 36 and 18 is 18. Ladies and gentlemen, unofficially, of course, the championship is now tied. If I'm doing the math right here, with 2 races to go in the season, Davide Ricciardi and Tony Talvidi are now tied for the lead of the championship. And Gutierrez, with a 3rd place finish, will get 32 points, I believe. $33 points for 3rd place. So he will be 3 points. So he will be 18 points back from the 2 leaders. So if I'm doing this math correctly, we will have Ricciardi and Talvidi tied for the lead of the championship, with Gutierrez only 18 points behind, with 2 races to go. Folks, it's just getting started. So, hope you've enjoyed this broadcast virtually from the trackside of Spa-Francorchamps. Join us again at the same time, same channel in 2 weeks, where we'll be racing at Suzuka. And we will have the top 2 drivers in the GT1 Championship fighting for the ultimate trophy, starting from a tie. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, leave a like on your way out. If you disliked it, then what on earth have you been doing with the last 2 hours? I've been your host, Pasha Paterson, and this has been SimRacingOnline GT1 Championship Series 2